Hi guys, this is MJ of MBTI Time, and a lot of you have been asking me on Instagram before,
How do you know if ENFP is your type? Let's see.
and so I thought why not make a video about it and share my thoughts. Now, talking about ENFPs. Okay, first things first, I know that many people might mistake an ENFP's warm and accommodating nature as flirting. But it's not always the case. Most of the time, they're really just, being friendly. Um, I think the bigger question is like really finding out if they're interested rather than just a short term crush. Because, admittedly, I know that ENFPs do get crushes or get infatuated easily, but falling in, like liking somebody or really being genuinely interested is like a different thing. And really, when you think about it, it's actually fairly easy to know if an ENFP likes you, um, except if you're an INTP, or some kind of the idol or an inferior FE. But um, it's really trying to, I guess, distinguish whether or not this person is really just being friendly than actually being interested in whoever that person might be. So I do hope that you will stick around because I will be sharing some tips to find out whether this ENFP is really interested um, in you. So number one, so you might be wondering, does this ENFP actually like me, or are they just being ENFP? So I think before I even answer this question, I'll have to explain first how there are a vast spectrum of ENFPs. Um, it might even also depend on the gender roles. So, on one end of the spectrum, there are ENFPs who you won't really need a lot of guesswork. They will cling on you, they will message you, they will talk to you regularly. Um, they'll get up on your personal space or even just straight up tell you, right? So that's on the opposite end. So the more lively or loud or um, vibrant ENFPs. While on the opposite end of the spectrum are the more shy, reserved type of ENFPs. They're not introverted. It's just that when it comes to emotions, they're very uh, slow in they're very hesitant in letting other people know that hey, I might be interested, but you'll never know kind of thing. So normally, though the more straightforward ENFPs tend to have the um, sevens or eights in their enneagram or tri type. They're a little bit more straightforward, whereas the other opposite end of ENFPs are I would say the nines, the twos, those types of ENFPs, and there are more, but no two ENFP will look exactly the same. So that's just one. Number two, they do go near you, or they'll try to find ways to get close to you or be in places where you're at. And this is very straightforward. It's like where you are, I'm there kind of thing. And it's gonna not gonna be a one time thing. It's gonna be uh, a regular occurrence. And if you happen to see ENFPs in places where like, oh, you're here again, or oh my god, I didn't know that you would be here. You know, those types of ENFPs are those who find it hard to just straight up tell you or ask you out yet, but would at least find a way to get close to you, which then will lead me to the next couple of signs with what comes after that. So, number three, um, the ENFP will ask a lot of questions and they will try to crack your shell open. So I had this conversation with an ENFP like I think a couple of days ago, and I was telling them, "Hey, I'm gonna make a video about ENFPs," and they were like, "How to know if an ENFP likes you?" They'll tell you. The end. And so I think I'll put a screenshot somewhere here of how that conversation went. And actually, I had another conversation with an ENFP earlier today as I was shooting this. Um, and I was telling them, hey, I'm writing, how do you know if an ENFP likes you? And they were like, um, be an introvert. Be quiet, or like the more you don't say much, the more that they'll be interested. So I think that's one of those um, subtle ways to kind of get an ENFP interested. But again, I think you're watching this because you want to know if it's like they're interested or are they just being ENFP type of thing. So yeah, most ENFPs are drawn to mysterious types, and I'm not really saying those who are intentionally mysterious, but like people who are mostly introverted, or in the more introverted spectrum. So I've seen ENFPs who are drawn to, very typical INFJs, INTJs, INFPs, INTPs, ISTPs. But actually, I've also seen ENFPs who are drawn to the likes of uh, ENFJs, ENTPs, and ENTJs. So I think it's really nothing to do with whether or not somebody's an introvert or an extrovert, but rather have this air of mystery about the person. So that's something that's alluring to them, because the more that they have to figure something out or understand somebody, or the more harder it is for them to kind of get the person to open up or to just understand in general, the more that they are interested. So it really isn't dependent on whether or not you're an introvert or an extrovert, but rather having that sense of mystery that they would like to peel off little by little. So that is my third point. And so, number 4, depending on the ENFP, again, normally I notice this in like 7s, 8s, or um, any person who has a 7 or an 8 in their enneagram. They tend to be either extremely shy or giddy, like excitable, like upbeat, and like high pitch noises, and like screaming, just all of that. Or like their voices get really high, um, and they get all smiley. So that's one thing that I've noticed about them. So I've seen a spectrum of ENFPs across my lifetime, as though I'm like an old person. But they do really get excited, and there are also a spectrum of ENFPs who are calm, and cool, calm, and collected. So around you, they are comfortable in social situations, but around you, they tend to be more shy. Probably because they feel a little bit more unsure of themselves, and around somebody that they find difficult to know or that they admire. So that's one thing. Okay. Number 5. So imagine ENFPs being like a golden retriever, like the dog from Disney Pixar's Up, that kind of dog. Uh, they like sticks, they like balls, not that kind of ball. And since they like it, they wiggle their tails when they see it, and they get excited, and when they see it flying around, they're gonna go after it. Some ENFPs are like that. They are not afraid to go after what they want. Whereas there are also some ENFPs who are a little bit more on the shy spectrum, where you're never gonna find out if they like you until you make the first move. And even if there are signs that show that they like you, they will never verbally say or admit it unless you do it like you say it first, or if they already know for sure that the person might also like them back. Now, number 6. Um, when you hang out with an ENFP, no, actually, when you ask an ENFP to hang out with you and they say yes, right there and then, not like months away, not like a plan in 2-3 weeks, but actually saying yes to a last minute invitation, or to like, you want to hang out this weekend, and even if they're like doing something, they're busy, they have a plan, if they're willing to move their schedule around you, oh, that's a big sign. Because I don't really think it's just about time. I know that ENFPs care about their time, but it's more important to them that they get to spend that time with you. And so, in the rare times where the other person makes the move, and they get to like just say yes or no to that, then that's a big thing. When they say yes, immediately, then that's a big sign. When they don't get to hang out with you because there's really something in their schedule that prevents them to, and they suggest a different, like a different set schedule, like, okay, I can't meet this week, but do you want to meet next week, or do you want to meet another day within the week? If they do that, then that is one good sign that the ENFP likes you. So if they do postpone it and you don't really get to hang or talk in the times where you ask them, then sad to say, unfortunately, um, they might only really see you as a friend. Because if you're really trying to figure out here if they like you as a friend or more than a friend, they usually like hanging around with people, spending time with people. They're those types of people, right? ENFPs are like that by nature. They don't mind hanging around with people, and they also sometimes need their personal space. But most often they like spending time with people. But if it's like another person inviting the ENFP and they say yes to spending time with you, um, within the week or within the day, and they say yes, then that's already a big sign. Because they don't just do that to people they're not super close with, or they're not really interested in. So, number 7, last but not the least, an ENFP likes you when they tell you something that others don't know, which is most often pertaining to their family life or their personal emotions. The thing is, ENFPs don't like to talk about sad things as much as possible. They like to be happy. They like to be upbeat. They don't really enjoy talking about what they're going through. They don't want to be a burden to other people. They like to keep themselves light and happy. So when they do try to confide with you, like one on one, tell them what they're going through, asking for help, um, uh, kind of like looking for comfort. Just seeing an ENFP and their non-stereotypical ENFP version of themselves, then that's a big sign. Because it's rare to see an ENFP who's ENFP a little bit down than their usual self. Normally it takes a lot for an ENFP to be really sulky and sad. Normally it's big things that get to them. And so when they do open up and when they do share those things with you, and others, happen to not know about that, then that's a big sign. So I hope that you won't crush it, like you won't crush their spirits, you won't crush their hearts, or don't judge them for the rare times that they are, sad or vulnerable. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you resonated as an ENFP or somebody who's dealing or dealt with an ENFP. So I hope that you guys found that helpful, and let me know which type you want me to do next. So yeah, thank you guys. And if you want to book a session and want to learn more about your type, check out my um, services in the video clip that will pop out after this. So thank you. See ya. Follow me on my socials at MBTI on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you're not sure if you're an INFP, INFJ, ENFP, INTJ, or any other type, book a typing session with me by visiting www.mbtitime.com. Links in the descriptions down below.